All right, good morning, everybody. Sometimes I start talking and I need to clear my throat. And that is very frustrating. I'm so sorry for these bloody... I'm just going to get out of the way. All right. Fair enough if you tune out here. It is Monday, the 16th of January. We have officially hit day 16. That's pretty cool. 16 days of this. Of my voice. It's interesting to think how I was thinking that maybe these were getting like slow or they were getting like hard to listen to, or I was worried that I'd like covered too many topics and I couldn't sort of I was going to have a hard time thinking about what else to talk about. But then as the days go on, things happen and life continues. And so I've got like a lot of things to talk about because of that, which is kind of fun and kind of cool. Anyway, I wanted to start today off with a little poem I wrote like a long time ago. I guess we've all heard about the saying, the early bird gets the worm. And I was thinking about... that's pretty fucking good if you're a bird. But if you're a worm, that sucks. So the early bird gets the worm, but what does the early worm get? And so I wrote this. The early bird may get the worm, but the late worm truly wins, for he is still asleep when the birdie feast begins. While all his friends are eaten and he's the last worm left alive, the early bird and the lazy worm are both the ones who thrive. I don't know, I'll just sit with that for a minute. I think it's interesting. Why do we want to be birds? I think obviously birds are cool. We probably can relate to birds a little bit. They can learn words and they mock and they, you know what I mean? They've got pretty feathers, and worms are pretty gross, yuck, writhing and wriggly and just like gross in the earth. But you think about what has more problems. You know what I mean? A bird's got to make a nest. It's got to put that nest up in a tree. It's got to learn to fly. It's got to keep out for other predators. And some of those predators are even humans. You know, a worm just got to stay on the ground. It's got no worries. I feel like a worm would have zero worries. I guess they get used for fishing, sure, and they get eaten by birds, and I'm sure there's other animals and things that eat worms. But the early bird may get the worm, but the late worm also wins. And then I guess there's the other argument where if you're the late worm, you won't have any of your worm friends. But do worms even have friends? Like I don't think a worm would really have a sense of community, right? Even though I know you can get like worm gardens and stuff, but like, isn't it just a free-for-all? I really don't think that they care too much. I feel like if a worm died and it started to decompose in the dirt, another worm would just come through and eat that because it's just part of nature, you know? But a bird dies and another bird's not going to eat that bird. And they also hang out in communities. They have like a sense of community. Maybe that's why we relate closer to birds. That's a really good question. Do worms have a sense of community? Do worms have a sense of community? Who thought we would have got to this point in this podcast? Because the real answer is, who gives a shit? No one cares. If we found out that worms had a sense of community, it wouldn't change any of our lives in any way, you know? But I like that. I like that I can write these little poems. I read one before that I wrote, and it was fucking dark. I have no intentions of, it was about not existing anymore. And I remember at the time thinking, man, this is going to sound really dark one day. But I didn't write it. I had the words in my head. It wasn't like I was feeling any certain way. It wasn't like I was, I have any intention of not being here anymore, but I wrote this poem that was just so, so dark. I won't share it on here because I feel like I want people to actually listen to this, and I don't want it to just be dark. But yeah, it was pretty bad. And I read it to Mads before, and she's like, "Oh, I thought you were going to read a cute poem about me." Wrongo. This becomes challenging because there's nothing to talk about. What happened yesterday? I went to the gym for the first time in years yesterday, and I used to be able to lift a lot heavier. And I mean, I didn't try yesterday. I'm sure I could still get those weights up, but it wouldn't be easy, and it would hurt a lot today. But I decided I'm going to do a push-pull legs split, which is basically just, like, I don't know. I used to bodybuild, so I used to do like a day for a muscle group. So it would be like chest day, and I would only do chest. And then I would do leg day, and I would only do legs. And I would do shoulder day, and I would do like a bunch of shoulder workouts and really try and build up. But you have to spend like 3 or 4 days recovering that muscle group, and then you got to go back to the other, like, when you go to the gym the other days, you're building up the other muscle groups at the same time. So at any given time, you just sore all over. With push-pull leg split, the idea is you target all of the same active muscles. So push, obviously, you're targeting all the push muscles. So your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. And then on pull day, you're activating all of your pull muscles, which is your biceps and your back, and I can't remember, there's another one. And then on obviously leg day, you're doing your whole legs, calves, glutes, quads, hammies, and then you can take a rest day and you can start again. And the idea is, if you do lighter weights and more often, you can sort of build up quicker. Then you can do 6 days a week where you're actually working out all those areas twice, rather than 5 days a week where you're working each of them once really hard. And it's supposed to be more effective. But for me, it was just a matter of getting back in the gym and doing something and just being active. So I was using lighter weights. I was only out there for an hour, which is good. And it was good because I also don't know the gym very well, so I was able to like find all the equipment that I needed, figure out what the vibe was, what the environment was like, what to do, how to do things, and I felt satisfied. I had the best fucking sleep last night. I had a whack dream where I had to protect my wife from attackers, which is probably because I was back in the gym. I'm just, you got to fight out, it was like those demons. Those attackers I don't think are real people. They're the demons in my head. My wife in this scenario is not actually my wife, but it is me and my subconscious. I'm fighting the demons off my subconscious. But it feels good. It feels good being back and being active and making these decisions. It's like I have to action it. I didn't want to necessarily go to the gym last night, but like I just had to get up and get out and do it. And that has made me want to do it again. Not today. I'll probably go on Tuesday. I'm going to go get a body scan on Wednesday with a mate. He's going to take me, and I'm going to find out what my body scan is. I'm also going to try and go to the doctors and maybe get a full blood panel and just see sort of where I'm at, what my testosterone levels are, what my cholesterol levels are, just like a health check, an all-round health check, because I'm 27, and I think 27 is like a creepy age, because so many people die at 27, so many famous people. A lot of people live past that, but I feel like it just makes sense to go and get a bunch of health stuff done that I haven't done before. Oh, and then I went this morning to use my car, and I can't get it out of fucking park, so I have to get a mechanic in to have a look at that, because it's the third time something related to the gear shifter has fucked up in the last 6 weeks, which means everything I'm doing is obviously just fucking futile, and we need to just get people in to have a look at it and fix it for me. So yeah, life is happening. I don't really have a lot else to say. I guess I'm glad this is coming up. It's probably been my shortest one yet. But I think maybe the message of today's podcast is don't listen when people tell you about the early bird getting the worm, because maybe you want to be a late worm. If you listen to people who say shit, they're only saying it from one perspective. Think about how good it is to be the late worm rather than to be the early bird. You don't have to get up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock to start your day. I mean, the people that do that can get a lot more done, sure. But are they really having fun? Are they really living life? Or are they trapped in this cycle, this torturous cycle of just day in, day out? They have to do it because they've been told to do it, because they believed the early bird story. And they never really thought about what a late worm would want. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. It is Monday the 16th of Jan, and I'm signing out.